Well, good morning, dear ones. Welcome to another glorious morning here in Colorado. The sun's out, it's shining. It was warm yesterday, going to be warm today. I'm Reverend Robert Brzezinski, and this is Morning Prayers for the 26th of March, 2020. Rapidly rolling up on my wedding anniversary, so wonder what we're going to do for that. I don't think we're going to dinner this year, that's for sure. And I want to thank you for being with me. I always like to say hi to the people watching on the recording first, because people watching live are just now about getting notification on their Facebook and on their YouTube that we are live. They'll start coming into the room here shortly. But until then, hello to everybody watching at a later time on a recording at some point. I appreciate you checking this out. The idea started on the 18th that I just needed to pray more. And I wanted to pray more with people, and I wanted to pray more with my friends. I figured what better way to do that than to do it live and do it out in the world for everybody. And I've been having a number of friends and guests join me for these. I do them every morning at 8 a.m. and again at 8:15 p.m. Today, I was intending to have a good friend, Rick Davis, from from Glenwood Springs. I was intending to have a good friend, Rick Davis, with me, and he's having some computer issues, so hasn't been able to join me just yet. He may slip into the room, and if not, well, then we'll hook up with him on another day and get it figured out and get him in here to pray with us on another day. So, and prayer work, well, I believe if you're watching this, if you're my friend, you already know that it's pretty important. And it really is one of the rocks upon which I stand and that makes my life work. So if you'd like to get your prayers prayed for, you can contact me at revbriz@spiritevolving.com. I'm happy to add your prayers to this program or just pray for you, for your desires, for your healing on in my own time, or even if you want to get on a phone call and talk about it a little bit and chat and get to some prayer together, I'm happy to do that as well. So reach out, touch me. Well, don't touch me. Wait, that came out wrong. Reach out electronically and we'll connect and we'll get some prayer work going for you and such. So, and just like all people out here. So, oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to start it today with something a little bit different. Some of you may know that I have been publishing a daily email list for 7 years, I think now, and it's called Daily Spirit Callings. And every day I get a chance to share an affirmation, an inspiration, and a call to action. Hey, look, it looks like we've got Rick in here. All right. I'll do that other thing another day. We'll do daily spirit callings another day. Today, Rick Davis is with us. He's from the Western Slope. Welcome, Rick. How are you doing this morning?
Can you hear me good?
We can, yes.
I'm doing well on our first day of a statewide quarantine. So it's a new day, a new world, right?
Exactly. And you know, I've been hearing that a lot with my friends and prayer partners. It's a new day, it's a brand new world, and a brave new world as well. And we're going to get to explore and enjoy that. So glad you're with us. Rick is a chaplain out in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. He does the good work, and we've been praying together. Well, originally it was Thursday mornings for a number of years. Now it's been Wednesday mornings for a number of years. Rick and I get together and pray every Wednesday morning. We're together, right?
Oh, and it's been wonderful just to sit and share spirit and share with Robert, and it's good. It's my highlight of the week in so many ways, Robert.
Well, thank you. And I promise, folks, I did not pay Rick to say that. So we have a great relationship. All right. So here's how it works. Number one, we're gonna it's called a share a prayer. And I'm going to get Rick to start the prayer for us. And at some point, Spirit will tell him to hand it over to me, and I'll take it from there and then wrap it up. And then we get into the next portion of our day. But before we get there, Rick, I guess I'm wondering, in this, I'm trying real hard not to call it an interesting time. In this evolving experience that we're having as a collective, as the human race, what's going on for you? What's in your heart? What's your prayer request right now?
Well, like we just talked yesterday, Robert, at our weekly prayer, and so I'm a hospice chaplain on the Western Slope. We are a non-voluntary home health and hospice. So we're on the front lines with everything that's going on. In fact, our director yesterday told us that the hospitals have reached out and they're going to try and release as many of the non-critical and non-infected people back home. And they're asking us to step up our support of people at home now. So we're going to be taking on more and more medical cases of whatever it takes. So in the hospice, we have RNs, LPNs, we have CNAs, aid workers, we have social workers. Myself as a chaplain, and I have an assistant chaplain too. The only ones getting in the homes right now are the RNs, sometimes the aides, because of the potential of viruses. And then we're triaging everybody. So what's on my heart and what's in my prayer today is just supporting those that are really meeting the need of the vulnerable right now. Supporting them in thought, in word, in deed, in action, and for ourselves, supporting the vulnerable any way we can. We have to be careful. We have to not go out and expose ourselves, but there's a lot of ways we can still. There's folks that need food. There's folks that need their dog walk. There's folks that need a phone call. That's one of the things I'm doing. We have about 80 employees, plus quite a few on our home health and hospice rosters. And I'm just spending time calling everybody, just saying, how are you? Are you okay? What do you need? Are you feeling supported? Are you feeling loved? What can we do? And I encourage everybody that's listening to your program and they to encourage others, reach out. And you can't touch them physically, but touch them other ways and trust that God is there reaching out with you, doing good work. So
We've been saying it a lot, right? Physical isolation does not mean that we have to be isolated socially. It does not mean that we have to be completely isolated. It just means we need to kind of keep our distance for a little while, but we shall hug again.
Exactly.
We shall hug again. All right.
Right now.
Exactly. All right. Well, Rick, if you would, why don't you get us started with our prayer here this morning? And when Spirit tells you, just pass it over my way.
Right. Thank you, Robert. I want to start just by saying my foundations instructor, Rev Robert, would always say, no matter what's going on, even in this, God is. That's where I'm going to start, even in this. God, consciousness, spirit, whatever we call it, the great mystery, that is in us and through all things. The divine is the architect, the builder, and the source material of everything that exists, everything in the seen and the unseen world, the physical and the spiritual. God created all things from itself. Nothing exists outside of God. Everything exists in the divine. There is truly only one. And I am part of this. I am part of that divine expression. I am immersed in the divine. And I know God pours itself into and through me. As I recognize this is true for myself, I recognize it is true for everybody, for all of life, for all things are God. I recognize that we are never separate from God because we'll never be apart. That which created us is within us always. No matter what, we will never, ever be apart from Spirit. In all things, even in this, God is. my community, my state, the country, the very world itself finds itself being challenged right now. And I embrace the divine light, the divine love that is in all. The healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, aides, I embrace that they are protected and guided through these times. I speak to and for the vulnerable that they are safe and provided for. I see at this time that people of all spirit rise into that place of love, into that place of active compassion, that we are beacons of the divine light, rising above fear, rising above despair, that we move beyond the divisions that we see in this world, the things that separate us, and we embrace the divine, the oneness in all. I proclaim that even in this, God is. I know that God is in our heart, our voice, our hands, our actions. We are divine light in a dark time. And I pass, Robert.
And I recognize that truth of being a divine light. And I hold to that, and I see that, and I recognize that truth for everyone. That each and every one across this entire planet are absolute divine lights. A light of consciousness, lighting a way, lighting a path, lighting the planet, enlightening human consciousness. And what I know is I know there is so much going on in the world. So many things happening in the physical form that are simply outpicturings of the collective consciousness of humanity. No one person caused all this. No one event caused all of this. In this, there is God, and in this, there is a demonstration of the collective consciousness of humanity. And what I know is I know right now, through this experience of physical isolation, there is a great reboot happening. God is hitting the reset button. A slate is being wiped clean and a new opportunity is being presented to allow human consciousness to look at itself, at life, differently. To bring a new perspective into this thing called life. For what I know is I know that infinitely we are all one. Deeply we are one. And that means no one is left out, no one is cast aside, no one is better than, no one is less than. There is a unity on this planet called humanity. And I know humanity is in this process healing, bringing itself to a new experience. And yes, there are the individual experiences, the individual cases. And in today's prayer, I was reminded right before we started that an icon of the New Thought movement, Edwene Gaines, is in an intensive care unit. And what I know is I know that means that she is being cared for, that there are doctors and orderlies and nurses, and that each one is an expression of God's great caring for its creation. So I know God operates through the hands and the hearts, through the machinery, but most especially through the people, through the doctors and the nurses and the orderlies that care for Edwene and support her in returning to wholeness. I know there are countless caregivers, frontline workers, first responders out across this entire planet right now, caring for those that have been touched by this virus. And I know in that there's a grand demonstration of God's life living itself through all life. The human expression of care and compassion is God expressing, is God flowing through and supporting and demanding the healing. And so I know as humanity and the humans and each individual touched by this is moving through their own healing, whether that's a physical healing, a mental healing, an emotional healing, a spiritual healing, that there is a healing happening for all. And I know there is a healing happening across this entire planet. Carbon levels dropping, animals returning, rivers running clear again. There is a great rebirth that is happening right now. And we are being birthed into a new world, into a new experience. And that happens from a new consciousness. And so I invite each one that hears these words to lend their consciousness this day, to invest a portion of this day into deep communion with the self, and to recognize, to turn within and look for the good, knowing it may be hard to find. Look for the good that is happening in your life. Look for the good that is happening across this planet. And there are countless stories of neighbors helping neighbors, countries helping countries. We truly are moving into a world where borders are irrelevant and where humanity is awakening to its spiritual magnificence. That is good. Each individual across this entire planet is being given the opportunity to sit in consciousness, allow the divine to inform, inspire, uplift, and soon enough, we shall go forth and demonstrate this new consciousness into a new world. So for now, I look at this event, this experience, as a time of great renewal, a time to turn within and find that deep inner calling to serve, that deep inner calling to be, and nurture that. Cradle that belief, cradle that consciousness, cradle that vision, nurture that, and prepare for the glorious adventure that comes after this one. The next great expression of God's life on planet Earth and beyond. Yeah, I know that at the very core of all of this, there is God. There is still God. And I know that beyond anything, God's got this. This is not mine to solve. Not no one person is to blame, is at cause for this. No one person is required to solve this. No one person is here to heal this. This is a collective journey, and I am so grateful to know that God's got it. That God's on the job. That power, presence, and intelligence, it's moving as all life is going is a never-ending life. And so life shall never end. God shall continue. And each one aligned with the truth of God marches forth. I claim an experience of marching forth and saying yes to the grand vision to what's next. So knowing God's got this and knowing there's nothing more I need do, with a grateful heart, I get out of the way. So very grateful to be in this moment, to share this prayer. Most especially grateful to know that God's got it so I can get out of the way and loose this word into the law that in fact has already said yes, has already approved of this prayer. I get out of the way and I affirm this truth by simply saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, dear ones, for being with us this morning. I'll be back again this evening, 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time. Join us again. And if you'd like to be on the show, if you'd like to come in and pray, let me know. I'd be more than having all kinds of friends and family in. So, and much like just about every gig worker in the world at this point, A whole ton of people are in financial need. If you found value in this program, please share it with a friend. And if you're able to drop a contribution in the tip jar, please do. There's an address going across your screen where you can do that. I promise you that financial good will be put to good use, keeping this family moving. So until tomorrow, folks, thank you for being with us. Rick, thank you again for being here this morning.
Thank you,
We,
Robert.
we love you, everyone. Peace and blessings. Have a great day. Bye now.